and welcome to my first ever episode of R.E.A.D, which stands for Recommended Excellence and Awesomeness for Dylan, which is where I read books that you have recommended to me and I do a review and I talk about them. So let's get into it. The first book that I have for you is this book right here. This is Divergent and it's by Veronica Roth. I'm so excited. I really like this book straight off. I just want to say that. So the person that recommended this book to me is Nikki8240. Sorry, I need to look down to remember the numbers. You were the winner of my 100 subscribers video giveaway thing, and so I decided to read the book that you said first, so I did, and this is it, and I was so excited. So let me tell you about this book. So this is pretty much your typical dystopian book, or so I thought, and so I was told by lots of people. It's set in Chicago, and in Chicago the society is divided up into 5 groups, into these 5 factions. And they kind of represent, you know, the people who live in each faction are their characteristics are very separated. Like, they're in the faction because of the certain characteristics that they have, and they all kind of live separately. They see each other, obviously, but they don't, well, not obviously. They see each other, but they live separately, and, you know, they're separated by these 5 factions. So the 5 factions are, I need to read them because I can't remember them. First one is Candor, who are the honest people. The next one is Abnegation, who are the selfless. The next is Dauntless, who are the brave. The next is Amity, who are the peaceful. And the last are Erudite, who are the intelligent people. So every year there's a choosing day, and people who are 16, they go to the choosing day and they choose the faction that they're going to be in for the rest of their life. And they can't change factions because they just can't, because that's bad. So this story is about the main character, Beatrice Pryor, and she has grown up in abnegation, so she's the selfless kind, and it's her choosing day, and she has to choose, you know, she's 16, she has to choose which faction she's going to be in. And what does she choose? She can choose either between staying with her family, staying where she's lived her whole life, staying with the people she knows, or she can reject her family, leave them behind, and move to a different faction. And what do you think she decides to do? Obviously, she leaves her family. Let's be honest, this isn't a spoiler because this is so obvious. And this isn't a spoiler either, she chooses Dauntless, the brave faction. She leaves her family behind, and that's kind of where the story picks up, because from that point onwards, the story is definitely different from any other dystopian book I've read. It's so different, it's so unique, it's so awesomeness and action-packed, and there's secrets and romance and lots and lots of action. So yes, all of those things are kind of not spoilery or spoilers or any of that, because it's so obvious, you know what's going to happen. I mean, if it didn't happen, if she chose like Amity or something, or if she stayed in the faction she was in, I don't know where the story would go, or there wouldn't be a story. So the story is very kind of enclosed. A lot of people have problems with the world building in this book, and I can see some of the problems, I can see some of the errors that are there, or like the missing gaps. But I really like that things were enclosed and things kind of stayed in the same kind of place, because I felt like you got to experience action and the people more, and you weren't like being taken into different places, so I liked that. I also liked the characters. I thought they were very interesting and very unique and different, and I could really see them. I could see Beatrice. I could see all the different characters. And the other thing that I really liked about this book is that it was fast-paced. Oh my gosh, it was so fast-paced. There were just things happening all the time. I was like crazy. I was like, oh my gosh. Things happening all the time. I was like, really, it was insane. And things were just happening and then they were just moving. And I was like, what? How can you move on? That happened. Notice it. Don't just be like, oh, big deal, move on. So, my favorite and least favorite things about this book. My favorite things about this book was that it was so fast-paced. Things just kept on happening. It was so engaging, it was so exciting, it was so much fun to read. The writing style was really good. Everything flowed easily. It was just an easy story to read. It was just so much fun, so fast-paced. Things just kept on happening, and it was awesome. The things that I didn't like about this book. The main character, Beatrice, she's a likable character, but at times I really didn't like her. I went from kind of liking her above average, kind of, to liking her very, very, very below average. I was like, oh my gosh, I really don't like you. And a lot of the times she reminded me of other dystopian characters. Like, at times she was really unique and different, and her thought process was really strange and different, and, you know, I accepted it because it was, like, different, and I was like, oh, you're different. But at times, she felt like the same as every other dystopian female main character. And that kind of reminded me of like a Katniss kind of thing. I don't want to compare this to the Hunger Games because people keep on comparing books to the Hunger Games. And I mean, people, the Hunger Games are great and everything in this movie, but you don't have to compare everything to the Hunger Games, even though there's going to be a movie for this. And it's going to be a trilogy. Anyway, so yeah, that's something that I don't really like. Her character was kind of, you know, it reminded me too much of some other dystopian female characters, and also, sometimes she was a little bit like unfeeling, like almost robotic. Sometimes I was like, how can you just do that and move on and not feel anything, or just let your feelings be squashed? You know, she was really tough, but sometimes I felt like she was a bit too tough. Like, I was like, seriously, I mean, can you not feel emotion? Like, you can feel emotion because there's romance in this book, but can you not feel other emotion for people who you're not romanced to? That doesn't make sense, but it did. And the last thing that I didn't like about this book is that there were some placeholder characters. There were some characters who I didn't get to experience, I didn't get to find out anything about them or see any depth, and I really wanted to because they felt like they were important characters, but I didn't get to see inside of them and see who they were and to unpack them. They were just there, and they were just place-holding so that the story could continue and that the fast-pacedness could keep on going like it was. So, if you're looking for another dystopian novel to read, if you're really into that whole kind of genre of books, then this is definitely a book to read. It's not one to miss. It's so well written, and it's so much fun, and it's so fast-paced, and it's just so much fun to read. Seriously, it's so much fun. Seriously. Seriously, seriously, seriously. Fun, fun, fun. There we go. I don't know what that, yeah, so definitely recommend this book to you. I go 5 out of 5, and I hope that you read it, and I know that lots of people have already read it already, but just putting my 2 cents in and letting you know that I really like this book. So that was my first R.E.A.D. episode, my recommended excellence and awesomeness for Dylan episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you check in for the book talk that I'll be doing about this book. It'll be full of spoilers, and I'll be just discussing this book, so that'll be at the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.